Chancellor, Minister, Your Worships the Mayor, members of the Board of Governors, Vice-Chancellor, graduates and honorary graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this morning's ceremony here in the Barbican Centre in the City of London. This is the third of the 6 award ceremonies which will be taking place in this hall in the course of this month and next month. This is a day in which all of you who are gaining awards, together with your families and your friends, can take immense pride. For that reason, up here on the stage, as it were, we should be observing just a little bit of formality and ceremony to make it a day that you will all want to remember for the rest of your lives. At the same time, we want you to enjoy the event and to join in the celebration, to applaud and, dare I say it, even to give a little cheer as your fellow graduates cross the stage. Just try and remember the balance between having a really good celebration and observing that little bit of necessary formality as the morning proceeds. This is most decidedly your day, and days like this don't come round many times in one lifetime. Above all, we want you to relax and to enjoy the next 2 hours or so. And so a very, very warm welcome to you all. Today's proceedings are now open, and without further ado, I call on our Chancellor, the Lord Rix, to address the Assembly. Lord Rix.
Your Worships, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. It's my very great pleasure as Chancellor of the University of East London to welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. I'm immensely proud to be this university's Chancellor, as I'm sure all of you who are graduating today are proud of your university. During the last year, I spent a considerable amount of time campaigning on behalf of our university to persuade the government to do 2 things. First, to recognise the special needs of part-time students, and second, to find a better way of issuing visas for international students. As you know, from next year, there will be new student funding arrangements. Much of this is good news, in that maintenance grants are restored for less well-off students. From 2005, students will no longer be forced to find more than £1,000 in advance. Payment will in future be through deductions from pay once your earnings pass a certain threshold. That is also to be welcomed. Indeed, we hope that many mature students will once again consider coming to university full-time to further their careers, as they did in much larger numbers now, before having to pay up front put them off. What is less good news, of course, is that students will have to pay more towards the cost of a university education. We've put together a set of bursaries which will help those most in need to try and moderate the effects of this. We must maintain the quality of learning and teaching, but government resources are not enough, so our options are somewhat limited. Where I've been doing my campaigning bit is to draw attention to the fact that our thousands of part-time students were set to be disadvantaged by the new regime. Actually, it'd be truer to say that until relatively recently, part-time students have been ignored by the government as far as student funding was concerned. As you may be aware, we have made significant progress. The Minister for Higher Education recently announced a targeted package of measures, including an increase of up to 25% in the support offered by government for part-time students who have financial difficulties. Things are still not exactly as I would like to see them, but this is indeed progress. Where we're making less progress at the moment is in sorting out what I can only describe as the mess as to the process by which visas are offered to international students. The costs have been increased considerably, and the outcome of the process has become much less predictable than in the past. This has led to embarrassment with some of our most long-standing international partners. A significant international community is, in our view, an essential component of a university, so we really must get this right. I've also been campaigning against these silly league tables. They add up arbitrary collections of statistics and claim that they tell you something. Of course, we were pleased when The Guardian listed us as London's leading modern university. Any encouragement is welcome to both staff and students. But despite continued real terms funding cuts, the statistics show all our universities in the United Kingdom do an exceptional job, and I hope the government really appreciates our efforts. Dropout rates in the University of East London are lower than the average in the United States and in mainland Europe. And last year, just about 9 out of 10 of our students were in work or further study just 6 months after graduating. Some courses have a 100% employment rate. And a recent report listed the starting salaries that our graduates are achieving as being in the top 15 starting salaries for university graduates in the UK. With the well-researched bias of big employers against taking on employees from London's ethnic minority communities, we think this is a figure of which we can be proud. But we shall, of course, be working extremely hard to improve on it. We know this to be our duty. It may take you time to find exactly the right job, but you will get there, and I wish you well. Some people have been saying that there are too many graduates, but the facts quite simply don't bear that out. According to the CBI, the National Skills Task Force, and the government, 80% of new jobs created over the next decade will be in occupations most likely to employ graduates. That is 1.7 million jobs by the year 2010. And studies across all the OECD countries repeatedly show that graduates earn more than non-graduates over their lifetimes. Indeed, becoming a graduate in the UK has never been a better investment. Salaries for graduates are on average £6,000 per annum higher than for non-graduates. Male graduates earn 15% more than male non-graduates. Female graduates earn 19% more than female non-graduates. So I say to all of you graduating here today, you have made the right choice. I think I must acknowledge, though, the huge debt of gratitude many of you, and us, of course, owe to your families for the great sacrifices they have made so you could make the choice and finish your studies here. If they're present this morning, we wish to express our warmest thanks for all they have done to keep the show on the road. And talking of shows, in a short time, many of you will be stepping onto the stage, and I hope you remember your starring role at the Barbican Concert Hall, brief though it may be, for the rest of your days. However, on 2 occasions, 2 others will be joining you, and it will be my pleasure to confer on them an honorary degree, for they made a particular contribution to the University of East London, or to the welfare and cultural life, not only of this part of the world, but of the world in general. To our honorary graduates sitting centre stage, as well as all of you out front, may I offer my warmest congratulations. Now, a final word of encouragement. Each year I try and find a suitable quotation on which to end my speech and exhort you to even greater efforts in the world outside. Each year it becomes more difficult, and I'm now having to resort to the classics. Last year it was Ovid, dum vires and equisinant tolerati labore, iam veniet tacito curva senecta pede, which roughly translated means, while years and strength allow, tolerate labour, soon will come bent old age with silent foot. And Ovid was bang to rights. But this year I've chosen a quotation from Shakespeare, from Antony and Cleopatra. To business that we love, we rise betime and go to it with delight. I trust you'll all find the occupation you love and go to it with delight all your working lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. It's now my very great pleasure to call on our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Michael Thorne, to deliver his address. Professor Thorne.
Chancellor, your worships, Master, honorary graduands, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to welcome you all here today to join in this special day, a day of celebration. A day which is the culmination of a lot of hard work and personal sacrifice, not only on the part of those of you who will be crossing the stage, but also on the part of parents, partners, children, and friends. Successful learners need good supporters, so congratulations are due to everyone here. As our Chancellor has just reminded us, we all must now be much more conscious about the financial investment involved in studying at university. But I want to concentrate today on other aspects of being part of a university community. This seems to me to be important because not everyone decides to study or chooses their subject of study for the economic return it will bring. Otherwise, why would anyone choose music rather than law, science rather than business, anthropology rather than education? As a university student, you are surrounded by scholars and scholarship. You are confronted with theories, with carefully reasoned intellectual arguments about how the world is seen from differing perspectives, and with new ideas, some of which may be controversial or perhaps threatening to your own value system. Our hope is that whatever you do when you leave us, you will thereby be ready to analyse and to challenge, to welcome ideas from others, and to offer up your own, and to weigh arguments and make decisions. The University of East London is increasingly recognised for its research and scholarship in many areas. And this year we have expanded our graduate school with some 75 new PhD studentships and have attracted new research leaders from such established research giants as University College London and Imperial College to further boost our potential. Over the past few months, several of our researchers have hit the headlines, as well as receiving academic acclaim for advances in their respective fields. Here are just a few examples. Helen Penn, who is Professor of Early Childhood Studies in the School of Education and advises the OECD, has had 2 new books published, Unequal Childhoods, Young Children's Lives in Poor Countries, and Understanding Early Childhood Issues and Controversies, a book based on the pioneering degree programme she has set up here at UEL. Dr. Andrew Silk, criminology field leader in our School of Law, organised a successful international conference on the psychology of terrorism last spring and was a leading commentator in the wake of the London bombings. His expertise sought by broadsheet newspapers and programmes such as Newsnight. Indeed, you may have seen his work featured on a recent BBC Horizon programme. A new book by Dr. Kazi Rahman of our School of Psychology, entitled Born Gay, The Neurobiology of Sexual Orientation, including new research by Dr. Rahman and his co-author Professor Glenn Wilson of the Institute of Psychiatry, has sparked lively debate around the world and was the subject of a front-page feature in The Times. Dr. Hamid Jahankhani and colleagues from our School of Computing and Technology organised the first international seminar on global e-security, held at UEL in February, bringing together experts in this developing field from all over the world. The work of our School of Health and Bioscience, particularly in physiotherapy, rehabilitation, health and sports science, has come into sharp focus thanks to the success of London's bid for the 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games. We have recently installed an MIT Manus robot and are working with MIT to develop new techniques for rehabilitation involving movement training programs. Our Centre for Environment and Computing in Architecture, together with a consortium of European universities, including Vienna, Aalborg and Ljubljana, has been awarded £250,000 by the European Commission for the development of a virtual immersive architectural education. In the School of Social Science, Media and Cultural Studies, Professor Naira Ewell-Davis received a major ESRC research grant to work with different refugee communities in East London, using experimental community theatre techniques as an innovative way of learning about how refugees' identities are being reconstructed and reauthorised after settling in London. This 3-year research project is part of the ESRC programme on identities and social action. Last but not least, a team from our business school, led by Professor Sunny Nwankwo, has successfully launched the £600,000 EU-funded Empower project to promote entrepreneurship among black and minority ethnic women in London. Our research thus relates directly to our role in regional development and benefits local communities. We have also made great strides in the area of knowledge transfer, that is, providing expertise and consultancy services to industry and the public sector. Through our Knowledge Doc, we are now working with over 700 businesses. This summer, leading entrepreneurs came together to launch our Hot Hatch, an innovative networking facility for people who want to turn their ideas into successful businesses. And recently, we were delighted to announce the Pecci Centre for Entrepreneurship to encourage and educate future generations of entrepreneurs. The centre, launched with a £500,000 grant from the Jack Pecci Foundation, will be part of the new business school and Knowledge Doc Centre currently under construction at our Docklands campus. This magnificent set of new buildings will also include a new building to house the School of Computing and Technology and is the largest of many new facilities currently under construction or in planning. By the end of next year, we will have invested some £110 million on facilities, which also include new halls of residence, a nursery, the Centre for Podiatry and Physiotherapy in Stratford, as well as further development of our historic Stratford campus. Work has also now started on our Lifelong Learning Centre in Barking Town Centre, in partnership with the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham and Barking College. This investment in facilities reflects the continued rapid expansion of our academic community. Over the last 4 years, student numbers have grown by some 50% to more than 18,500, while at the same time we have been able to improve quality as recognised by this year's successful Quality Assurance Agency audit, in which we were awarded top grades. We're also delighted that we were recently awarded Investors in People status, clear recognition of the massive investment we've been making in staff development to support the achievement of our ambitious vision for UEL. A significant part of our growth has come from work we do overseas, both recruiting students from over 110 countries worldwide and increasingly through a family of partner institutions by which students can study both in their home country and here in East London. These include Beijing Union University, Help University College in Malaysia, where we now have more than 800 students studying UEL programs, and the Amity Business School in Delhi. Much of this development has been thanks to our regional offices in Beijing, Kuala Lumpur, Pakistan, and Lebanon. We're also making a significant investment in developing distance learning to enable people all over the UK and worldwide to study for a UEL degree from their own homes and workplaces. To this end, we have entered into a unique partnership with ICS, part of the Thomson Publishing conglomerate and a major distance learning provider. Our joint new degrees in psychology, law and business studies are already doing very well, with more than 1,000 enrolments. Before I close, I should like to thank the members of the Board of Governors for their unstinting support and advice. But most importantly of all, I want to take this opportunity to offer my deepest thanks to the staff of the University of East London, each of whom has directly or indirectly made an enormous contribution to your success. Everyone in this room owes them a huge debt of gratitude, and I think we should show our appreciation in the usual way. Finally, to all of you receiving degrees, diplomas, and certificates today, remember that today is but one stage of your education. You have a lifetime of learning ahead of you. Build on your success, seize new opportunities, and broaden your horizons. You join a long line of distinguished alumni, which includes a former Prime Minister of Dominica, a UK Government Chief Whip, the Chairman of ICI and a former Managing Director of Ford International, the Chairman of Network Rail and a former Managing Director of Ford UK, the US-based $3 billion turnover Molex Inc., the editor of Heat magazine, several Turner Prize nominees and a Venice Biennale winner, a winner of the Royal Academy's Charles Wollaston Award, filmmaker Ken Russell, and former England and West Ham midfielder Trevor Brooking, neither of whom could I avoid naming. We're very proud of you. Best wishes for your future careers wherever they take you. Please keep in touch with us. The University of East London would not be where it is today without you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. We come now to the presentation of the graduates from undergraduate programs in the Business School. Graduates will be asked to ascend the stairs on my left and to come to this lectern, where their name will be read out before they cross the stage to be congratulated on my right by our Chancellor, the Lord Ricks. It's now my very great pleasure to call on Dr. Timothy McIntyre-Batty, Associate Head of the Business School, to come to the lectern to read out the names of those who have gained awards. Dr. McIntyre-Batty.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary and Registrar. It gives me great pleasure, honoured and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to present to you today, in this first part of the ceremony, the graduates from the undergraduate programmes in the business school. Bridget Adje Mensah. Ernest Adu Gamfi. Muhammad Ali. Catherine Ashby. Tati Laskari. Christine Atim. Sabrina Bedminster. Lamin Bojang. Mohammed Farah. Amy Farker. Rebelda Gaston Armand Trading. Mandy George. Thank you. Dinusha Hemasiri. Ragar Kalra. Gregory Innes. Luke Karam Bamuchero. Regani Kathy Gamanthan. Faustina Carey Mateng. Washington Majeka. Taboho Mafosa. Kirishima Mohadres. Yo Mensa. Zwelithini Nkube. Teju Arumoi. Charmaine Pamire. Millicent Penu. David Peirce. Udeni Rupasinghe. Fatimat Salami. Shagufta Shah. Zaid Sheikh. Ukpe. Latoya Walker. Brookman Wijesaria. And finally, for Accounting and Finance, Stephen Yard. For the award of Certificate of Higher Education in Accounting and Finance, the only candidate today, Yolande Francis. For the Bachelor of Arts with honours in Combined Studies with Accounting, Beatrice Toyer. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Accounting in association with the Help Institute in Malaysia, Sharmila Devi Pamarasawan. For the Bachelor of Science with honours in Business Economics, Gurjit Bansal. Vasilios Kazakos. Mahbub Ali. Omar Ali. And finally, for economics, Yana Jagoria. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Accounting and Economics, Amanda Ambo. For the award of Bachelor of Science with honours in Finance, Money and Banking, Mudavanu Nayashasha. For the award of Bachelor of Science with honours in Financial Economics, Lindy Joseph. Thank you. Evgenia Kostopoulou. Nevokila Kunshaba. Nicole McLean. And for BSc Honours, Finance, Money and Banking, Madalena Francisco. Thank you. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with honours in Political Economy, Bikal Debella. And Hannah Murray. Now for the award of the High National Diploma in Business, Serena Akhtar. And for HND in Business, Benoit Gomi. And Bodraz Zaman. For HND Business and Management, Zaman Rafiq. Hi. And Sukhjit Sambal. For BSc Honours Applied Economics, Latif Jalasho. Thank you. And for the Higher National Diploma in Business with Marketing, Femi Asiwaju. For the Higher National Diploma in Business with Personnel, Farah Abdu Hejle. Arif Buz. Arifa. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with honours in Business Administration and Computer Systems, Shanaz Begum. And the award of Bachelor of Arts with honours in Business Studies, Shah Alam. Amadatu Anjalaya. Bernice Bevel. Mandeep Bakar. Victoria Bonito. Caroline Brennan. Simon Brown. And the winner for the Head of Schools Prize for Business Studies and recipient of appropriate cheque, Sebastian Bremer. Congratulations, Sebastian. Mabel Dankwa. Leonida Dividi. Eurydice Dos Santos. Louise Enoch. Shital Gajar. Sean Hall. Lisa Hum. Tarek Karouf. Jennifer Lambert. Bob Musa. Daniel Nwitpo. Thank you. Alawunimni Oshunlola. Mittal Patel. Rija. Tseng Tsao. Thank you. For the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Combined Studies, Daly Kalunga. Mariat Sangera. The Bachelor of Arts in Business Studies, Adenike Aleru. Yagini Gohil. Wilson Blubana. Fu Huachit. Also for Business Studies by Flexible Learning, Deborah Ann Gaffigan. Mozaid bin Shafi. Emmanuel Kansoris. Tasja Kelly. Lee Buikat. Anna Katarina Kukoli. Ling Hee Kwong. Lao Tzi Yen. Luis Nakatanaka. Stephanie Schmidt. Julius Standies. Daniela Stunk. Nina Tung Singh. For the Bachelor of Arts in Business by Flexible Learning, the only candidate, Lei Poaki. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies and Combined Studies, Rosalind Gustave. And Belinda Safo. For the award of the Diploma of Higher Education in Business Studies and Combined Studies, Oslem Sumbal. And for the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies with Computer Systems, Charlie Emeka Oleni. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies with Economics, Abayomi Adeji Meji. And Rajesh Saul. For the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies with English Language, Jennifer Lynch. Bachelor of Arts with Business Studies with French, Ian Carpenter. Bachelor of Arts Business Studies with Information Technology, Leonie Ansetando. For the Bachelor of Arts of Business Studies, Business Finance, Katie Alexander. Mahesh Apakuti Arech Chigedon. Clayton Goromonsi. Julien Go Makang. Nikolaos Parianos. Ladathavang Senathit. and Adetukungo Taylor. For the Certificate of Higher Education in Business Studies, Business Finance, Kashif Balok. And for the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies Entrepreneurship, Orhan Abdu. The Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies Human Resource Management, Nana Adu. Nelly Adongakulu. Farhat Ahmad. Kayode Alabi. Cordelia Anore. Shakiratu Balogun. Jaswati Chand. Samsam Habe. Shahid Iqbal. Naya Kayani. Salima Mafo. Tej Mehta. Nadim Mahuddin. Sherit Nair. Irem Razak. Sultana Begum Uddin. Tabinda Yassin. Lei Tsang. And Marianne Osung Bessan. For the award of Bachelor of Arts Business Studies Human Resource Management, Rakshma Khalid. And for the award of Bachelor of Honours in Business Studies Marketing, Russell Ahmed. Monica Anthony Taylor. Kamaljit Kaur Bansal. Angela Brown. Maria DaCosta. Louise Fitzgerald. Simone Ford. Nicola Gurney. Jumeir Junaid. Anthony Kanyike. Jagdish Kaur. Omar Sharif Likat. Olubunmi Labina. Lisa Massey Gill. Victoria McDermott. Dean McMillan. Judith Mintosha. The next candidate is the winner of Sir Edward Howard Memorial Prize, presented by the Worshipful Company of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators. We are pleased to have Mr. Geoffrey Greenwell, the Master of the Worshipful Company, here with us today. Mr. Greenwell, please can I ask you to step forward and present the prize to Sahel Mohammed. Dennis Mola. Colin Oduku. Kazim Ojuko. Zedoxnam. Rakna Patel. Farah Rehman. Natalie Richards. Stella Santos. William Sharp. Sarah Shava. Tochukwu Umuna. Yip Tae Fong. For the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Business Studies Supply Chain Management, Ngasani Kahuya. And Seher Chalik. Thank you. And for Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Combined Studies, Didar Ahmed. For the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Human Resource Management with Information Systems Development, Agnes Piri. And for the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Human Resource Management with Information Technology, Florence Namby. For the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in International Business, Emeka Okori. Victoria Wilkie. Henry Yi Xing Lung. And for the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in International Business with French, Gloria Valencia. For BA Business Studies Marketing, Manangwa Nakata. And finally, for the award of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Marketing with Combined Studies, Folashade Ojo. Folashade is the final graduate for me to introduce in this first part of today's ceremony.
The University of East London has conferred the degree of Doctor of Business Administration on Baba Habu for a thesis entitled Comparative Study of Japanese and Western Management Accounting Practices. Dr. Habu. The University of East London has conferred the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Anne Young for a thesis entitled Unfinished Business, a study of how middle managers with nursing and accountancy backgrounds manage identity in changing UK healthcare. Dr. Young. I'm delighted now to introduce the first of two honorary awards which the University of East London has decided to make at today's ceremony. As you will shortly hear, honorary awards celebrate the lifetime achievements of individuals who are outstanding in their field of endeavour and who, through their determination and their success, offer those of you receiving awards here today role models for the next chapter in your life. I would like to call first on Professor Alan Sibbald, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, to deliver the citation for the presentation of Baroness Catherine Ashton for the award of Honorary Doctor of Laws of the University of East London. Professor Sibbald.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me the greatest pleasure to propose Baroness Catherine Ashton of Upholland for the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws of the University of East London. It is fitting that we honour Baroness Ashton in this way, for she has spent her life in the service of many causes in the private, public and voluntary sectors, with particular resonance for the University of East London. These include her strong commitment to education, corporate social responsibility and equal opportunities, including women's rights. Catherine Ashton, or Cathy Ashton as she is widely known, graduated from the University of London in 1977. Within 6 years, she had been appointed to work with today's other honorary graduate, Stephen O'Brien, in helping him found Business in the Community, an organisation which seeks to ensure that the corporate sector in this country is aware of its social responsibilities to our different communities. It was while she was working for Business in the Community that Catherine Ashton helped establish the Employers Forum on Disability and Opportunity, an organisation to which the University of East London, along with a number of our universities, subscribes. I am reliably informed that in her earlier life, Catherine Ashton had been a well-known figure in CND and had been denounced by the Daily Mail as a communist because of her opposition to nuclear weapons. I also understand that she has been a close advisor of the Prince of Wales and that he has particularly relied on her for help on the political front. Indeed, when the Labour Party were still in opposition, the Prince of Wales asked our honorary graduate to introduce him to likely future leaders of the party, and she had the excellent foresight to select Tony Blair and Gordon Brown to meet His Royal Highness. This led to Catherine Ashton becoming an important advisor to the Prince of Wales and to the Prince's Trust during the 1990s, with respect to positioning in political and community networks. Catherine Ashton has also given service to London First, an organisation which champions our capital city and seeks to draw inward investment into London to support the regenerations of areas such as London Docklands and Burgess Park in Suffolk. It was during her time at London First that she was seconded to the Home Office to contribute to its work on the voluntary sector. From 1998 to 2001, she served as chair of the East and North Hertfordshire Health Authority and later as chair of the new Hertfordshire Health Authority. In 1999, Catherine Ashton's public service was recognised when she was awarded a life peerage as Baroness Ashton of Upholland. 2 years later, she entered the government as Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for School Standards at the Department for Education and Skills. From there, she moved to become Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Sure Start, jointly at the Department for Education and Skills and the Department for Work and Pensions. Baroness Ashton has had a lifelong interest in education and its relationship with other cultural activities. She's been spokesperson on education in the House of Lords, seeking to get all parts of the economy working together to bring our schools up to a uniform standard of excellence. She has also championed the cause of higher education, and we have cause to thank her for working closely with our Chancellor and today's our honorary graduate when we were seeking to influence the shape of the Higher Education Bill in the best interest of our students. Baroness Ashton's most recent appointment is as Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Constitutional Affairs, where she has wide-ranging responsibilities which include civil law policy, international legal trade, the Freedom of Information Act, family justice, and the Law Commission. Baroness Ashton, for your unstinting record of service to the social and educational causes which underpin the well-being of our society and of the University of East London, I have great pleasure in calling on the Chancellor to confer on you the degree of Doctor of Laws of the University of East London, honoris causa.
By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor, I hereby confer on you, Cathy Baroness Ashton, the degree of Doctor of Laws of the University of East London, honoris causa. Many congratulations.
This is a real treat. I'm delighted to be here, and I want to say 3 small things to each of you. Brian, Lord Rix, is somebody who has given his life, based on personal experience, to support some of the most vulnerable people in our society. And in doing so, he has a track record second to none. He has also made sure that your interests as university students and this university have been represented in the House of Lords. Without him, some of the proposals on part-time students in particular would not have happened. He is a hero. And my first piece of advice to you is, in your life you will come across heroes in all walks of life. Cherish them. Stephen O'Brien, who receives his honorary degree next, is somebody who employed me when I was 26 and was probably pretty unemployable. He gave me the benefit of his wisdom and support. He also is somebody who has used his skills to support the causes he believes in. The development of our inner cities, the support for our minority ethnic communities, and again with this university, unstinting service. He has been for me, and remains, my mentor. My second piece of advice to you is, if you find somebody who can be your mentor, use them wisely, but use them well and often. And the third thing is that I remain today the first and only woman in my family to go to university. I have had many opportunities in my life to end up where I am today. My third piece of advice to you is seize every opportunity in every moment you possibly can and achieve all that you can be. Thank you.
The second honorary graduate to be presented at today's ceremony is Stephen O'Brien. I have very great pleasure in calling on our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Michael Thorne, to deliver the citation for the presentation of Stephen O'Brien for the award of Doctor of the University of East London, honoris causa. Professor Thorne.
Chancellor, Your Worships, Master, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the greatest pleasure in proposing Stephen O'Brien for the degree of Doctor of the University of East London. In Stephen O'Brien, we honour someone whose contribution to the University of East London is incalculable, and I will return to that in a moment. But first, let me start with some of our honorary graduands' many other achievements, which were recognised by the award of the CBE from Her Majesty the Queen in 1997. Stephen O'Brien is Joint President of London First, an influential pan-London partnership which he helped to create in 1992, serving first as its Chief Executive and then as Chair of its governing body. London First is supported by over 300 of the capital's major businesses, as well as by universities, colleges and NHS trusts, all aiming to harness their skills for the promotion and improvement of London. In little more than 10 years, London First has become a resounding success story, and under Stephen's inspired leadership, London has truly found its voice and self-confidence. Stephen O'Brien is also Vice Chair and former Chief Executive, as you heard, of Business in the Community, a unique movement of over 700 of the UK's top companies committed to making a positive impact on society. Some years ago, his love of the arts made it natural for him to accept appointment as a director of the Greenwich Theatre. His career began in 1956 at Charles Fulton Holdings, a firm of currency brokers which he helped develop into an international money market business. He was chair of the company between 1973 and 1982 before joining business in the community. As well as having had a successful business career, Stephen O'Brien has also been involved in community activities for nearly 30 years, and his current voluntary roles include being chair of London Waste Action and of the Prince's Trust London region. Earlier this year, he was appointed chair of the Tower Hamlets Primary Care Trust, one of the many ways in which he has signalled his commitment to East London. I come now to Stephen's contribution to the University of East London itself. He was appointed to the Board of Governors in 1996 and became its chair in the year 2000. No chair of governors could have worked as tirelessly nor as selflessly as he has worked with all sections of our internal and external communities to build our reputation and to secure our future. Stephen's term of office coincided with a period in our history when we were in a difficult state of transition. It was to the chair of governors that staff and students looked to provide leadership, and Stephen was more than up to the task, giving freely of his time to steer us to a brighter future. We are all immensely grateful. Indeed, the key reason I was attracted to the post of Vice-Chancellor here at UEL was the reputation Stephen already enjoyed in 2001 of being one of the best things that has happened to East London. As chair of the Board of Governors, he has gone on to help us become recognised as a major player in our region and enabled us to attract an exceptionally able and committed Board of Governors. Stephen O'Brien, for your dedication to the University of East London and for your service to its students and staff, it is an honour to ask the Chancellor to confer on you the award of Doctor of the University of East London, honoris causa.
By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor of the University of East London, I hereby confer on you, Stephen O'Brien, the degree of Doctor of the University of East London, honoris causa. Many congratulations. Thank you very much.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Baroness Ashton, ladies and gentlemen, to say I'm flattered, delighted, honoured, all those good words, would be really the understatement of the year. When I joined the University of East London Board, I was 60 years of age, and UEL was my very first university experience. And so it has become one of the key and formative parts of my later life. It has been one of the most exciting and creative periods of my time. So I am so grateful for this honour and to be here today. When I joined the board of UEL, I sensed that the university was not quite sure, not quite secure in its role in the higher education firmament of London. It didn't really know whether it was still an agglomeration of East London colleges turned into a polytechnic, or what it meant to become a university. I can't say that the University of East London is the greatest university in the United Kingdom, because that would be like comparing things where comparisons simply would be unrealistic. But I can say that it is the most important university in Great Britain. And its importance rests, I think, on two fundamental planks. Firstly, it was the first university to really understand how to become and be and grow into a regional university. And it did this and is still doing it and will do it for generations ahead in the territory which has been the least invested in and the most deprived, shamefully, I think, in the history of the United Kingdom. So here we are now, a regional university in the very heart of the United Kingdom's fastest developing region, perhaps the fastest in the whole of Western Europe. And of course, it's right at the heart of 2012 and the Olympic Games, which will put it even more onto the international global map. That's the first reason. The second is that it is really a kind of metaphor, I think, for the diversity which London as a world city is growing to value and experience. The diversity of UEL, in all the meanings of that word, is one of its greatest glories, and thank goodness we're getting infinitely more confident in celebrating it. I hope that my successors on the board of the University of East London will continue to fight the battle with employers of all shapes and sizes and makeups to convince them that those who have studied here, regardless of their original country of origin, are enormous contributors in the future to our economy and make sure that they get the place and value in society that is justly theirs. Those are the reasons I am so pleased to be honoured in this way and to be associated with the University of East London. I want to end, if I may, with 4 very brief thanks. The first is to repay the tribute Cathy Ashton so generously paid me. If I am her mentor, she has been my store of values. It was through Cathy, when she was young, in the way described in the speech, that I learned so much about what life could be and should be for those who don't have the kind of advantages I started with. So she is a living system of values for me. Secondly, I want to thank the Vice-Chancellor. The university has been transformed by its senior management over the last 5 or 6 years, led by the Vice-Chancellor and the rest of his team. The staff of the university have responded absolutely magnificently, and I believe we have a team now that is really playing in the Premiership. So thank you so much to Michael Thorne. I want to thank our Chancellor, because this is perhaps the last public opportunity I shall get to do this. He has made an outstanding contribution, much respected by the student body, but at the same time has managed to lead in all sorts of public ways the campaigns for justice for the kind of students who value their education here at East London. So I have had nothing but pleasure, fun and friendship working with Brian Lord Ricks as Chancellor. Finally, I just want to thank all those who have served with me on the board of directors of the university. The board is extremely strong, and it has on it some wonderful characters whose heart is absolutely now grounded in the future of the University of East London. So thank you to all those, and I can, as it were, leave this stage absolutely certain that this university is going to go from strength to strength in the years ahead and will become not just the most important university in the United Kingdom, but one of its greatest too. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of this morning's ceremony, But before we get there, I would like to invite our Chancellor, the Lord Rix, to come back to the lectern to draw proceedings formally to a close. Lord Rix.
And now will all the graduates, diplomates, please stand. Please stand. And would you please put on your hats? Thank you. By the authority vested in me as Chancellor of the University of East London, I hereby admit you to the degrees, diplomas and certificates for which you have been presented to me today. Our warmest congratulations to you all.
Graduates and honorary, ladies and gentlemen, please. Thank you. Graduates and honorary graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this morning's ceremony. Would those of you who are already standing, please remain standing, and those of you who are seated, would you now please stand for the academic procession?